it's teaching everybody with respect. And I don't necessarily mean that with clients. I also mean with our team itself. Sometimes we forget that we're all like human beings. So
Yeah.
what can happen is you're working on something, but there's too many things going on. And then you're like, why isn't this done? What's going on with that? But like remembering that we are all human, and that one, we all make mistakes.
Welcome to Powered by People, the podcast where we dive into the stories of the people behind thriving businesses. I'm your host, Wendy Pauls, and today I had the pleasure of getting to know Igor Ivanisevic. Igor's the co-founder of AccountingKW, a firm that takes the stress of bookkeeping off business owners' plates so they can focus on what they do best. Having run businesses himself, he understands the challenges firsthand, and that has shaped the way he supports his clients. We talked about his journey into accounting, the lessons he's learned from running a business, and the surprising ways that accountants can be a game changer for entrepreneurs. It was a fantastic conversation, and I can't wait for you to hear it. Let's dive in. Are you a coffee drinker?
Yes.
Yes. How many coffees have you had prior to our call today?
And you're just asking because accountants drink a lot of coffee. That's what it is.
And?
I only had one.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And,
okay. Go ahead.
There's a lot of people that, like my brother, my business partner, he would have probably had three by now for sure.
Yeah. I used to drink more. I typically in a day will have two mugs, two good sized mugs. Today, I do actually have a little bit of an iced coffee happening here.
That's nice.
So yeah, I just sort of felt like something different, but yeah, got to stay somewhat caffeinated, but I don't drink it in the afternoon. How about you?
I might get one in the afternoon.
Okay, you might. Yeah.
I might. I typically like to get one later on, just so it's usually like 2 coffees for me.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm about the same. I just make sure that mine usually are in the morning so they don't hurt my sleep later on.
Yeah.
I
get it.
Okay. So who is Igor beyond the numbers and the spreadsheets? Like, who are you? Tell me about yourself.
Oh, wow. That's a good one. Who am I? Well, I'm married. To Maya. That's my wife's name. We have 2 kids.
How old are they?
We have our daughter. She's 2.5. Her name's Tara, and we have Maxim. He is just 5 months. I just turned 5 months now.
Oh wow! You're in the thick of it right now.
So who is Igor?
You don't know anymore. You've lost yourself.
It's hard to say, It's you go home after work and then try to spend some time with them. And then you try to go to bed, and then maybe you sleep, maybe you don't. Like last night, we didn't really sleep too well. So, hey, anything happens.
Yeah,
So,
wow.
2 little kids.
Yes, busy stage of life for sure.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Other than that, like, I think I'm pretty just easygoing, nothing too crazy. Like, especially at this point now, like in my life. So, I definitely like going biking and things like that, hiking, but those things are definitely limited now.
Yes. Yeah.
So things like that. It's mostly surrounding the family. And, so like, I find that weekends are busier than these days.
Yeah. It's not so much downtime as it probably used to be.
Oh, absolutely not. So,
yes. So in the little bit of info I could find on you online, I did read that you are an avid reader and that you like to go hiking and you're a bit of an adventurist. So tell me a little bit about what's that?
So some of that was more even before, I think. Adventure. I don't know about the adventurous.
Not at this stage. That was like the pre-children.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
It's just I think it's just a different phase right now of life. So we just it's just a little bit more difficult to find some of that time, like to
Hmm.
go. Whereas before, it was like, okay, I can go here, I can go there. Now, like, we try to do certain things with kids, but like like Maxim, he's just 5 months, so he's
Right.
still very young, right?
Very young. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, no, sorry, keep going.
No, that's okay. Do you imagine or picture yourself, taking the kids on some hikes when they get a little bit bigger?
Absolutely,
Hmm.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Or
Yeah.
even thinking about maybe doing some camping
Oh, yeah.
later on, like around the summertime or something.
Hmm.
Just like that would be just a little bit, just a day or 2 days, nothing crazy, but just something. And
Yeah. Introduce them to the outdoors. Hopefully, they end up really appreciating the
yes,
outdoors.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Like now, like I spend a lot of time with my daughter. Like she's two and a bit, but she has like this gymnastics class.
Okay. Yeah.
We do that every Thursday. So like we were there last night, and then we do a little bit of dancing. So it's
Hmm.
what song should we put on? And then you got all these other kids. They're all just like trying to figure out which songs they love the most. And it's just
Yeah.
cute. So
Yes.
that's my adventurous.
That's right. It looks different, doesn't it, in
Yeah,
different phases of life? Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
That's amazing. I used to take my kids quite regularly to Alora,
Oh, yeah,
hiking along in the gorge.
that's a beautiful
Yeah.
place. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. It was
yeah,
really fun. And if the day was nice, we'd go down and kind of play in the river a little bit.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'd say they all love outside. They all love hiking. So yeah, introducing them at a young age often is helpful
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
have them share the passion.
Well,
Hmm.
like I find like even when we're at home, it's just after a little bit, it's just okay. We got to get out somewhere. We got to do something, like
Hmm.
whatever it may be. Let's get out of the house, and if
Hmm.
it's a little bit too cold, but like in general, okay, let's go here, let's go there. Try to do something, and I can see that like especially my daughter, because we are outside quite a lot. So it's
Yeah.
when we're inside for a longer time, she's not happy about it.
Yeah. Does she like the snow?
But yes, yes,
Yeah. Little kids love the snow. I remember I didn't care if I was cold. I just didn't care. I just liked playing in the snow. I,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
bundled up.
Yeah, of course. We just
Yeah.
enjoy it. Yeah, it's
I
beautiful.
know. I
Yeah.
know. You could kind of turn off the discomfort and just you get lost in play.
Yeah, now when you gotta clean the snow, it's
I know. It's not as fun anymore.
oh man, a few days ago I thought I was literally gonna die.
I know. We've got so much this year. So much. Yeah, I just heard we got more in the two snowfalls, like the two stars, than all of last winter.
Oh, there you go.
So
That's
yeah,
yeah, it was a lot. It's definitely a lot. So, but
yeah.
it is
But we're dealing with it.
absolutely.
So we're talking about kids and childhood. Do you remember what you wanted to be when you were a little boy?
Mm. Um, a little bit. There was a part of me where I wanted to be an actor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was that part. I I I don't know how it happened. I think I can't remember if it was something I was watching or whatnot.
Mhm.
There was definitely a part where I wanted to be an actor.
Do you remember who you liked watching, or was there a certain show or movie or that you were really drawn to?
At that time I really liked watching Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Like I don't know. Again, I don't know why. It was just
Mhm.
a thing. I just liked watching him. So it could have been maybe from that. Like
Mhm.
that was one of the things. Um, Another thing was just a little bit oddly enough, it was like criminology.
Mm,
Well,
okay.
that was also another thing, but I didn't pursue either one. It was just
Right.
something that I thought were interesting
Hmm.
for
Hmm.
whatever reason.
Yeah.
Well sometimes think about both of them and like, oh, that's
Okay.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
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 So
So, do you remember at what stage of your life then that it started to shift and you had an interest developing in, business, accounting, that sort of thing? When did that start?
honestly, that would have been like at some point in high school.
Okay.
Not necessarily before that. Like so we immigrated to Canada in '98.
Okay. How
Um,
old were you at the time?
I was 9 years old.
Okay, so pretty young.
Yeah. So,
Mm-hmm.
and we came to Canada in '98. First, we lived in Hall Gatineau in Quebec for about a
Mm-hmm.
year and a half ish. And then we came to Kitchener. And so during that time, like, I don't remember me thinking too much about like what it was more just like playing around. And plus I was still young at that time.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Then as soon as like kind of high school rolled around, maybe like we started taking some business courses, I think grade 10 or grade 11 or something.
Mm-hmm.
I remember taking some like there was an accounting course. I remember taking it. I remember taking an economics course, and I liked it. At the time, I also did like chemistry and some other things.
Mm-hmm.
But these were definitely some of the things that I liked. And then at the end or in grade 12, I ended up just applying for business. I didn't end up applying for like any other types of programs,
Mm-hmm.
not like business or like commerce, econ and things like that. So like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so it was definitely in high school. It wasn't before.
Was it something you were good at? Like, did you get good grades and enjoy the courses in school?
Yeah, it was like that. It was, I just kind of enjoyed it. And of course, like
Mm-hmm.
at that time, it's not something that you're like, oh, whether or not you're going to like it or not.
Sure. You don't always know.
No,
Mm-hmm.
no, absolutely not. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I thought, and I did have great teachers. And
Mm.
that might have been a factor as well.
Yeah.
Um, but I did like it, and so for what I think there was a push there, just for my own self. I'm like, okay, maybe this is something to try out.
Mm-hmm.
And there wasn't, I think mostly even if I didn't like it, I guess you can always switch in university and things like that. I remember people
Mm-hmm.
that,
Mm-hmm.
um, but for me, I ended up liking it. So
Mm-hmm. So from that point, you opened or started Accounting KW in 2014. Is that right?
correct, correct,
Okay. So it was pretty like once you made the decision, took the schooling, you have pretty much stayed on that path.
correct.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, 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 yes.
And so what inspired you to take the leap and start your own firm?
Hmm, interesting question. Well, so when I was in university, I was at Wilfrid Laurier.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up getting a co-op job, and I was working in Mississauga at Parker Simone. It was a smaller accounting firm, and I worked there my co-op terms from like 2008 to 2010. Then afterwards, I was working there full time. That's where I got my CPA or CA at the time. So I was there until like 2012, 2013 ish, and it was like, so when we were there, we were mostly working on just like year ends. So it was mostly just like you get a file where like, let's say bookkeeping is already completed on it.
Mm-hmm.
And so you are preparing the year end on it.
Yes.
And you're doing the tax return and the financials and things like that. So what, through that, like just through that experience, I don't know at one point, but it was more like, I can remember like even some partners and things like that. They were like, "Oh, I told you last year, don't do this. Why are you still doing this?" And it was,
Okay. Yeah. What did they mean by that?
and so what happens is like, it's when you get a file just at the year end time,
Mm-hmm.
you're not necessarily around throughout the year to be able to assist them on some of these things. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
they reach out to you. In some cases they do, like, and it's good that they do. They have questions, but in some cases they just don't, right? And so when those things happen like that, then comes to year end time, and then it's like you're trying to like fix it at that time, whether or not you can or can or not,
Mm-hmm.
that's a different thing. So it was like those things that I was kind of picking up. I was like, interesting. So like, okay, what happens throughout the whole year before we get this file?
Right. Yeah.
So then at that time it was a friend of mine and we were chatting about like the business and like just about businesses in general, and we just kind of opened it up um without too much thinking. At the time we were we're still fairly young. Like
Mm-hmm.
I was 25. Well,
Okay.
putting up,
Yeah.
putting
Yeah.
up accounting practice.
Mm-hmm.
And so the focus was going to be on like monthly bookkeeping and um, dealing with their day-to-day transactions, helping them through that. Like, and it was a lot of small business owners who maybe don't even understand what bookkeeping is. So it was a lot of that. So that's kind of how we started.
Mm-hmm.
And it was because like seeing, okay, if we just get a file at year end, maybe like, I'm not saying we're still doing year ends and all that stuff. This was a thing to just be like, okay, can we help them out throughout the year as well? And
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of how that whole thing started.
Okay. Yeah. And is there a part of the process that you enjoy more, or a certain type of client or business that you enjoy supporting?
Um, so like, for example, I deal a lot with, new clients now,
Mm-hmm.
onboarding new clients, um, getting all their data transferred, for example, like if they're in different softwares and how we're going to be dealing with this and that. So, and dealing with the team itself. So like managing the team.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm still involved a lot on like more so on the year end aspect than the actual day to day bookkeeping aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the role that I'm in currently, I do enjoy that role. Um, and just dealing with clients, like, I don't think there's a preference. We have clients in a lot of different industries. I don't think there's a preference, but it's just, you become really close with these clients.
Mm.
Um, and then as an accountant, you're like, you become like really good friends in essence with them. Um, so through time, like they refer you other clients,
Mm.
we,
Mm-hmm.
so they also grow. So we've had clients who started
Yeah.
out with nothing and then they grow to like, millions, for example, right?
Yeah. Oh, that's
So
got to be a very rewarding part of the
so
business.
there's a lot of like interesting things about it,
Mm-hmm.
and we have a really good team, so that all helps. So we chat a lot between ourselves, we joke around a lot, and like so it's both things are good. We have good clients and good teams, so it's
Mm.
yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I love hearing that. And actually, I had a conversation with a friend 2 nights ago looking for someone. So there you go. I'm going
Maybe
to,
you can send her this after, and
yeah,
see if
I
she.
know. I'm thinking, yeah, I met a wonderful accountant that
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sure would be happy to help you out. So, do you get the situations? Because I've seen them. I don't want to name names, my mother, but that has all receipts in a like a shoebox, and like, here you go. Like, do you get the situations where some clients have not done any kind of organizing, bookkeeping, and they just like it's
Yeah, yeah,
quite a lot of work to get things set up? Do you have that?
yeah. There's some nightmares with those. Um, so, so yeah, we still get some of those,
Mhm.
but not that many.
Okay, it's getting less and less. People are maybe getting more organized.
Uh, uh, or we just don't take them on.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's got to a point where we're just like, no,
Mm.
we can't assist with that. Like it takes a lot of time
Hmm.
on our part that we just don't necessarily have.
Right.
Um, well, in some cases, yes, we do it, but it's not something that we do quite often. A
Hmm.
lot of the stuff now is electronically, it's
Yeah.
electronically. So like there's receipts are uploaded electronically and things like that.
Hmm.
To go through these boxes it can be painful. Yeah, like
No,
again,
I know.
we still have some.
Sure.
We'll have
Yeah.
some, but and we tell them, can you please switch? No, man, it's okay.
I
So,
know. I know. Over the years, just I have seen different situations of people with, yeah, either bags or boxes just with a bunch of receipts. I mean, it gives me anxiety. And I
absolutely.
mean, I'm not the
Of
accountant.
course, yeah,
I look and go, oh man, that's a
of
lot.
course, of course.
Um, so your business has grown, scaled quite a bit over the years. What are some of the challenges that you have faced in that process?
Um, yeah. So we've definitely grown. Like there's 10, like we're still a small shop and there's 10 of us at the firm.
Mhm.
Um, and, but like, I think we have a good team in place, now. There are, and there always will be struggles. You try to always, work on your team.
Mm.
Um, to, it can be hard to get good people in place as well.
Mhm.
So yeah, we've had some difficulties in the past, like for example, finding the right people,
Mhm.
for the roles that we need. Those are always struggles. I feel like any business will struggle with.
Mhm.
Um, and then there's other struggles. For example, when it comes to some of these like paper type clients, instead of
Mhm.
like not so. Um, at some point in time, we look to, transition a lot of these clients to online, and a lot of them were open to this. So some, for example, weren't, and some we still kept. Some we didn't keep, in essence. Um, but like, we're trying to go more with the technology in a sense, so that we can provide more value added to the clients. It's not
Mm.
just,
Mhm.
the point isn't just like when you get a box of receipts, that time you're just going through those receipts and trying to put them into the system. So you're not really providing much of value added. Yeah, you're still
Right.
doing that
Mhm.
basics, and you're trying to
Mhm.
get this file out. That's practically it. And usually in those cases, clients can be behind and then they're missing things. And so, it's not easy, but we've had some challenges, I would say, with just staffing. But now I feel like we have a good team in place,
Mhm. Mhm.
which is very good. Um, it was also like challenges finding the right type of clients.
Mm. Mhm.
So, um, and I feel like now we are getting the right types of clients.
So who is a right type of clients and how are you finding them or how are they finding you?
So it's mostly, them finding us.
Mhm.
We're not necessarily advertising here and there. We are a little bit on like LinkedIn.
Mhm.
That's probably the best avenue that we kind of use. And it's mostly just even for like just sharing information kind of thing. It's not even just for advertising that like, hey, become our client. Um, so um, the way like a lot of these clients, the way they find us is now is going to be through referrals.
Okay. Yeah. Strong
So
referral business. Yeah.
so yeah, so
Mhm.
there's that. And also we've updated, like for example, we've updated our website so that we noted on there what type of clients we are looking for.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that eliminated a lot of clients that we don't want to work with, in essence.
Mm. Mhm. Mhm.
So
So
if,
can you summarize that for me? What
uh,
kind of client you're looking for?
so the clients that we're looking for, in essence, are going to be willing to be going to an online platform, in essence. Um, they understand, the importance of it and technology. They understand that they will be working with, like how we work. We have a bookkeeping team, so they get assigned a bookkeeper. There's a manager on the file, and then there's going to be a partner on the file. They understand the process. It's also going to be based on fees. So we have like a starting price. I think it's around like 500 a month or something. They understand that the pricing will start, from there, or it could be higher than that a little bit. I can't remember what we have actually on our website. Um, so it's those things. What has done for us, we're able to provide more of a value added, and
Mm.
we've also
Mhm.
kind of gotten rid of getting some client calls or like some leads that wouldn't necessarily be a good fit
Okay.
for us.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
before you were dealing, so I would have numerous calls and numerous like email exchanges and things like that. And in the end, it's like doesn't fit their budget, or again, they don't want to do certain things that we want them to do, like let's say going
Mhm.
online. And so this kind of eliminates that process.
Mm.
And
Mhm.
I've actually had a lot of, different conversations with other accounting firms and just businesses in general, and they do like the approach that we kind of taken on there. we are looking to still improve that a little bit now. Kind of we're in the process of doing that actually over the next few months. There are certain services that we do that are not really noted on there that well. For example, we have my brother, he is a tax specialist. So like, he does a lot of complex tax work. But that's not really noted on our website. It's like briefly noted, but like you don't really
Okay.
know that we do that.
Sure.
So we're
Yeah.
trying to like, again, every year you're doing something, you're trying to change it up. And, but yeah, so it's just like things like that we're looking at. That would be like, and then again, once those clients reach out, it depends on the services that they want because we
Mm-hmm.
can't necessarily offer all of the services. So we will take care of like their bookkeeping, the day-to-day bookkeeping, for example. We take care of processing their bills. We take care of their payroll. Like we have a good payroll manager in place and who
Mm-hmm.
has a lot of complex payroll. So we can take care of any of all of those things. So in some cases, a client may have an office manager or an admin person already doing some of these things. So then we can come in and we can do a portion and they can do a portion. It it depends. So we work with the client on what they kind of want and where we could see each other fitting in there. But our ideal
Mm-hmm.
clients are the ones who want like for us to take over their entire bookkeeping aspect, including payroll.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the ideal client. Now,
Yeah.
not all fall into that, but that's kind of like our ideal
Right.
client.
Yes, that's who you want to work with. I find I've done some different small businesses over the years, and I find in the beginning, like you're so desperate for business when you get started, you're kind of willing to do almost anything, work almost any time. And it
Yes.
is time and experience that you start to narrow your focus and
Yes.
also go, hang on, like, I don't want to be working at 10 p.m. on a Sunday night. It gets kind of more specific. And I
Yes.
think it is just as your confidence builds in what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's probably something we see in a variety of businesses.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. It took some time to get there. Like I remember at the beginning, like just taking on the clients and they're not really the right client for you, or you're doing it just to like
They're a client. They're going
yeah,
to
just
pay you.
build your practice and yeah, they pay you.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah.
that's right. Yeah. All right, let's see. You talk about being a trusted partner for your clients rather than just their accountant. How do you differentiate that?
So that takes time to build. So like in a sense an accountant, yes, we're in accounting, we're accountants.
Uh-huh.
Um, but I find accountants are like, okay, here, thank you for sending your file. And here we just did this. Here's the file back. Thank you. And don't talk to me in a sense. Maybe that
Uh-huh.
sounds a bit rude, but like
Uh-huh.
that's kind of what can happen.
Uh-huh.
And that happens a lot when you have a lot of clients and you're also maybe working like you're like a one man shop,
Uh-huh.
you know, because we see like accountants not getting back to their clients because they just don't have time. We
Uh-huh.
see we see accountants disappear, the word disappear, and then clients call
Uh-huh.
us and say our accountant has disappeared. They still have all our files, and it's like, and what I think happens is there's just like they get overwhelmed,
They've taken on too much.
which is 100%
Uh-huh.
possible,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
absolutely possible. And this is what you kind of mentioned. It's like working at 10 o'clock at night,
Uh-huh.
answering somebody's calls at 10 o'clock at night. No, absolutely not. It's like there's a business relationship. Yes, like, you can help somebody out, but to be constantly working at like 10 o'clock at night is not going to be sustainable.
Right.
Um, but there's a lot, especially in accounting, there's a lot of that. But that's how you burn out as well. So
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
a trusted partner, so like we try to build like that relationship and we work with them like that's because of the day-to-day work that we are doing with them.
Uh,
So then it's kind of understanding their business it's going to be like, okay, like we see some of these things that you are spending money on. Are you sure you need to be spending money on this?
Mm.
Or have you approved some of these transactions? They look a bit odd. We've never seen them before. Uh, it's going to be into like making them aware of how much money, for example, they're withdrawing out of a company, so that
Yeah.
they understand that they're going to have tax liabilities at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Informing them of what some of their, like, let's say, HST balances are owing, informing clients throughout the year.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of just kind of doing the work in a sense, be like, okay, we're done, here you go. But
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but that takes time to build that relationship in a sense. And then for the client to see that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that is when they start referring you other clients.
Yes.
And like when they grow, they may need other services from you. So then they look to you for other referrals in other industries, for example. So that's kind of what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. It's building the relationship, not just doing the
Correct.
tasks.
Correct.
Okay. So you work with various business owners day in, day out. What's a common mistake that you see people make, or maybe a not so great practice?
Not so great practice. A lot of clients don't necessarily look at their financial information on, let's say, maybe they can look at it monthly.
Mm-hmm.
So one, the account could be a problem in this case. And I'm not saying we're perfect here. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it would be sending them like a monthly financial report, the client reviewing that and seeing if something looks odd. That would
Mm-hmm.
also helping them understand if they're making money that month, why are they not making money that month? Those are just some of the basics, but you can compare that to a budget. So those are just some of the things that we try to do. Some of our clients are MPOs. They have board meetings, let's say like third week of the month. So what like that, and so then you try to send them this data so that they can look at it beforehand. Um, what we find is that a lot of them either didn't receive a lot of this information in the past. They don't understand how to maybe read it.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to educate them in a sense on like
Yeah.
why this is important, and like they understand that what their liabilities are going to be come year end by providing these month end reports and month end services. So it's this it's this practice that especially with, well, it's going to be with all businesses, but the focus for somebody who's just starting out isn't really this. Their focus is they need cash. They
Mm-hmm.
need cash, and that's the most important aspect. So then we come in and be like, okay, that's what you're focusing on. We're just want to let you know how you're performing this month as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, and then for larger businesses, this definitely becomes more of a necessity.
Mm-hmm.
And so we work with them on these
Mm-hmm.
financial reports to be able to provide them the necessary data. And that's, that's an important aspect that I find
Yeah.
a lot of these clients, whether or not sometimes they realize it or not. And I don't know, sure, like accounting firms provide it and whatnot, but um, not always, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes and clients just don't know what they need.
Right. Right. Do you still do? I think I saw online you do some short educational um, videos to help people.
So what we do now, we haven't done those in a while actually.
Okay, those
Um,
are kind of old.
yeah, they're mostly older. Like we have some like internally that we kind of share between ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Like we have like certain like, we'll call it like more like training, and it's like, okay, in order to do this, is this what you have to do, and it's like recorded and we have them saved. So it's like things like that. But um, those are great to do. It's just like
Mm-hmm.
hard to find the time for all of it. But we've
Mm-hmm.
noticed like clients actually like it. Like we used to do that a lot. Like we used to do that sometimes via YouTube and sometimes via Instagram. So
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I think sometimes they're great. Sometimes one little nugget, uh, it can be so helpful and somebody didn't think about it. That gets me thinking, okay, as your kids get older, what kind of do you want them to understand about money, about spending, about like what are some of the key lessons that you want to teach them?
oh man, so like I don't know if you know, but there's so many people that don't know anything about like saving money or
Mhm.
properly spending money
Mhm.
or using a credit card like
Yeah.
properly in a sense,
Yes. Yeah.
or how like borrowing money can help or how it may not help
Mhm.
if
Mhm.
you don't know how to pay it back in a sense.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, there's a lot of this, and I think was it was it Ontario who introduced that there will be some like financial literacy kind of coming into into like schools at some point.
We need it.
I feel
Like
like they
we
introduced
need
it. I
it.
don't
Yeah.
remember
Yeah.
though. Um, like it's just a necessity. Like to add back to one of my comments previously, there are so many businesses who start, like so many people who start businesses that don't know the basics of starting a business. That's another thing, like where we come in more of that like trusted partner. It's
Okay.
like
Yeah.
we're registering them for all of these various accounts. They don't like, but the problem is they don't understand the basics of it, and that can be a little scary. Like they like not understanding what what's like some what payroll liabilities are and how you
Uh-huh.
those and how much they can add up to and like what HST is and how that all works.
Uh-huh.
People just don't know, and
Uh-huh.
especially starting a business, it can be scary.
Yeah, yeah, there is a lot to know. And a lot of times when people are really early starting a business, they have like a skill and it isn't necessarily business
Yes,
or a service. Let's say I'm a painter, whatever, and I'm starting a business. Well, I know painting and I'm really good
yes,
at painting, but I don't know how to run a business.
yes. They wouldn't know how to like charge a client, for example. They
No. And how would, like, honestly, in their defense, like, how would you? Like, you have
absolutely
to,
not.
you have to learn.
Right.
So, working with an expert
Yes.
is helpful,
Yeah. Yeah.
obviously.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, for example, like for my kids, yeah, I'd absolutely want them to know, even like even if they're not in business, like
Mm.
I definitely want them to understand like the basics of it, and I like and I'm pretty sure it won't just be basics because I'll be looking to teach them some other things with that as well. Some,
Mhm.
but definitely knowing how much like how to spend properly. I have so many friends, even too, for example, not just like, for example, clients, but friends of mine who are suffering in these things just because nobody was able to teach them.
Yes.
But sometimes they also have to work on it themselves,
Mhm. Mhm.
but they also need some guidance in that. So
Mhm. Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
it's definitely like we definitely need some help there. And the other problem is like there's less and less accountants.
Is that right? I didn't realize that. Okay.
Well, like
Mm.
there's less and less accounts. There's less and less people going into accounting. So why necessary that is, I don't remember.
Mm.
It could be
Mhm.
like the job itself is it can be stressful, so that could be one thing.
Sure.
It can be I don't know, maybe other things, maybe just the schooling of it. I'm not sure, but I am
Mhm.
finding there's like a less and less people going for like their CPAs and things like that.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, that's good for you. You can get pickier and pickier.
And the other thing is like you have a lot of like accountants who are close to retirement now too.
Mm.
So there's that too. So then
Yes.
they have clients
Mhm.
that need to go somewhere. Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Well, I think there's more and more people getting into my line of work, so maybe I should become an accountant.
I'm enjoying
There's a plan.
it.
Um, what is one of the best or most surprising lessons that you've learned?
Best or surprising lessons. Hmm. I don't know if I have a good one, but like um it's it's teaching it's teaching everybody with respect. And I don't necessarily mean that with clients. I also mean with our team itself.
Mm.
Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
we forget that we're all like human beings.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
what can happen is you're working on something, but there's too many things going on. And then you're like, why isn't this done? What's going on with that?
Mm.
But like
Mm-hmm.
remembering that we are all human,
Mm-hmm.
and that one, we all make mistakes,
Mm-hmm.
and how can we improve with that? So that was one for me, like learning how to manage my team, because you can imagine I have meetings all the time with my staff, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, this wasn't done. The client did this, or somebody else did this. And it's like trying to manage that with them. And also me trying to manage myself to be able to understand their point of view as well, and
Mm-hmm.
why certain things aren't done. So I think that's a big one.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
just that personal aspect, because I've seen it a lot with myself, where like, okay, that wasn't necessarily the right thing to say, or like the way to react, Igor.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, let's kind of start learning from that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think those ones are big ones. I think um they hit hard at like the staff, and they also then they want to, like, once you kind of like show them respect and like explain to them certain things, and you're there for them, they want to stay around. And same for clients too. It's not just staff, but
Yeah.
I'm using more of like a staff approach here.
Mm-hmm. Do you think coming to like a new country at a young age, like that couldn't have been easy? That had to be difficult. Did that shape some of this in you, like this sort of compassion or, understanding because of some of the things you probably experienced?
Mm. It probably did. It probably did in a sense. You kind of, you feel that compassion towards others, kind of
Mm-hmm.
that are new, let's say, in business,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
that are new in the country, of course, too, but
Yeah.
that are new in business, and that
Mm.
are, and it's like they don't understand certain things. So you kind of have compassion for that.
Mm.
Somebody new starting at your firm to work, for example, you kind of have
Mm-hmm.
compassion towards them. Okay, we understand,
Yeah.
that you may need some assistance.
Sure. Yeah. Because in some way, I would
Yeah.
suspect you understand what that's like
Yes.
different scenario, but you kind of get
For
it.
sure, for sure. And that's definitely one of the aspects. And the other one is just by like running your own firm,
Mm-hmm.
I've I've had to learn to also work on that myself.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes we forget. Sometimes we're like, uh, sometimes you think we're just like numbers, or like
Mm-hmm.
we're
There's
like
tasks to accomplish.
we're just like robots, but
Yeah.
more than that. But
Yeah. Yeah.
we forget it. Like we all
Yeah.
forget it. So then it's like just that compassion. Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah. Maybe that's how we will have to differentiate more and more and more moving forward as AI becomes more and more and more prevalent, right?
Probably, probably.
That as humans, that compassion, the
Yeah.
empathy,
Yes.
will be something that sets us apart.
Absolutely. I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you do any workshops or training for the public? Like, do you do anything to help people kind of understand
We
accounting business things?
we haven't. There we did once. This was many years ago. We did like a public one. But it was quite a long time ago. We rented a space somewhere, and we did this, and I think it was just
Mm-hmm.
um, I forget what it was about, but it was going to be about basics of bookkeeping and some tax items as well.
Mm-hmm.
I remember doing it, and we did have like a decent amount of people turn out to that.
Yeah.
Um, but I haven't done something similar like that. It might be something to consider. Like,
I
yeah,
know. I'm kind of thinking, I can see a need
yeah,
for this and that
yeah,
people would really like that. A lot of maybe like first time, like people saving for their first home or like people at that stage
yes, yes,
often could really use some help kind of
Yeah, absolutely.
Cleaning things up. Mm-hmm.
This is one of those things. It's like you're just busy with the day to day that you kind of forget about some of these other things.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily too much into the day to day, but still, there's other things that will take space, and you're just. But
Yes. Yeah.
this is definitely a good thing to
Hmm.
consider.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll circle back to you later. I do have some rapid fire questions, but before I get to those, is there anything that I haven't touched on or that we haven't touched on that you think is important to talk about or that you want people to know?
Um, I think we touched on a decent amount of items. The one thing is, if you are starting a business, I think it's good for you to chat with somebody like an accountant or financial advisor in some
Uh-huh.
cases,
Uh-huh.
or in for what everything that they do, but an accountant for maybe some of those basics. Okay, I'm going to hire employees. What do I do? I am going to be selling this type of thing. What do I need to know about that? Should I be having a software? Should I not be? Should I be incorporating? Should I be working as a sole proprietor? Etc.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes.
So rather than just going and opening up a business and saying, I have a business, because like now, like you said this, there's a skill. People, they know what they're doing,
Mm-hmm.
don't necessarily know what they need to do with the business side of it.
Yes. Yeah.
So because of that, they fall behind, and now they're like a year behind or something.
Mm-hmm.
And once you're even like a year behind, it's very hard to catch up. When you're
Yes.
2 years
Yes.
behind, 3 years, all those penalties and interest charges
Yes.
build up,
Yeah.
and you're just drowning. So it's very difficult.
Yeah.
So and this happens a lot when somebody's just starting out,
Mm-hmm.
because I'll deal with that later. I'll deal with that later. But it's at some point in time it becomes so far, like it
Mm-hmm.
takes so much time that like you don't even know where to start really.
Yeah, I have a funny story about that, and it sounds unbelievable, but um, we've gotten behind, in our household before, even even within the year. But maybe you're catching up at the end of the year and haven't been keeping up on our expenses and stuff. And we had a $10,000 deposit into an account, but just like with no information, you know what I mean? Just it's deposit.
Yeah, yeah,
And both my husband and I are going, like that's still for us like a chunk of
of
change,
course, of
right?
course.
And
Yeah,
we go, what is that? Neither of it. Like it took us so long to figure. And we're thinking, how can we possibly not remember where $10,000 came from?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
that, it seems impossible. Like even me saying it sounds insane
But
because I'm
no, I
like,
mean,
there's just no way that I would forget something like that. But it was I don't even remember now what it was, but we did figure it out. But at the time we thought, how is it possible that we can't remember something that significant,
no,
Yeah.
this is like a regular thing that happens. Like with
Mhm.
clients, if they're behind like a few months or something, and you
Yeah.
ask them about a transaction, there's highly likely they don't even know what it's for.
No, I know. I know. And if I didn't experience it myself, I wouldn't believe it. I would think that's
Yeah, yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
How can they not? But no,
No,
I've
no, we
experienced
see
it.
it all the time, and it makes sense. Yeah, yeah.
Oh
Well,
boy. Well,
okay.
this is making me realize I need to have some conversations because the other one that I need to have at some point is deciding about a prep for
Yeah.
myself
Okay, okay.
when it's a good idea, not
Yeah,
a
yeah,
kind of that. I've only had some very high level conversations with people about it, but
yeah,
it
yeah,
is something
absolutely.
I want to evaluate at some point.
Of course, yeah.
Okay, rapid fire questions. Are you up? Ready?
I hope
Here
so.
we go. You're morning person or night owl?
Morning.
Oh, well, that's good with kids. That's
Yeah,
very handy because if you're a night owl and then you have kids, that's really difficult.
yeah. Not a night person. No.
Okay, okay, very good. If you could teleport anywhere right now, where would you go?
Oh, let's go to Spain.
Oh, somewhere specific or just Spain?
No, we're specific. Just kind of a little bit sunny, and
Mm,
just kind of enjoyed the weather.
mhm. Oh, that sounds good. Can I come along?
Yeah,
Wiggle
absolutely.
my nose. What's a book, podcast, or movie that you would recommend?
Uh, Man, I don't have one for you. Yeah,
No?
like I don't have one. There's there's a good book, but I forget the name of it. It's something about habits. Um,
Is it Atomic Habits?
Atomic Habits.
Yeah.
That's a good
Yes,
book. That's a
it's
very
good.
good book.
Yeah.
We had like a business coach, and
Mhm.
our business coach recommended that was one of the books that we read, and it was a
It's
really
so good. And actually, his newsletter is great. Like, just
yes.
has the quotes and stuff in it. It's so practical.
I would recommend
Mhm.
that book. I would
Okay.
recommend that.
Atomic Habits, great one. What's a hidden talent or skill that you possess that maybe a lot of people don't know that you have?
I I like to think of myself as like outgoing and things like that, but I do think people know that. Um, as um, I don't know. I don't know, Wendy.
It's so hidden you don't even know.
I don't know. I don't know.
It could be the stage of life too, that you're just
Maybe
forgetting your
maybe
talents because
some
you're just
lack
like
of sleep,
you're
like
in survival mode.
oh yeah,
Maybe you can change a diaper really well.
I'm pretty good at it.
There you go. You need it right now. It's a practical skill.
Oh yeah.
Um, if you weren't in your current profession, what's a job you'd love to try?
It'd probably be something with like sales, but like and something where like I'm dealing a lot with clients directly with
Mm,
like
hmm.
kind of what I am doing like that, but
Yeah.
not on the accounting aspect, for example,
Hmm.
dealing with clients. It could be sales related, but it could also be just working with clients. Now, I don't know what that would be specifically, but that would be one of them.
We could do. Are you familiar with the movie Freaky Friday, where the people change spots? So we could do a Freaky Friday, and you could do you could do my job, and I'll do yours, and we'll just give it a try, see how it goes. What's a motto or mantra you live by?
Um, it's it's you have to have discipline. Okay. So what's very important in that is like for me, I am a morning person. So the goal is you get up in the morning. For me, I have like a routine, whether or not that's going to be like working out in the morning, or some people like meditating. I have a few different things that I do in the mornings. So, but it's the discipline aspect. So, and you have to be very disciplined with everything that you are doing. So,
Mm-hmm.
organizing yourself, that's something key. That's for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, that would be very important. Well, in business, in accounting, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, oh my goodness, thank you so much. I have loved getting to know you. This has been great.
No, this was great. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the purpose of the podcast, and hey, it's pretty fun, I
Yeah,
gotta
no, this
say.
was great. Thank
Yeah,
you. Yeah.
I love getting to know people. I'm a relationship person, a people person. So it's really nice to meet new great people and have other people that I have a better understanding of who they are and what they do, so that I can, hopefully refer people to you.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah.
it was my pleasure. I
All
loved it.
right.
Loved it.
Okay. Well, hopefully we'll talk soon.
Talk soon. Yeah, thank you.
Thank
So